Yeah, guys, every time I leave the Fortress of Solitude, that is my domain, I am once again vindicated that I'm not just laying it on thick when I talk about these issues of Kali Yuga and such. In fact, I become more and more disillusioned almost every time I have to interact with the biomass NPCs that make up, sadly, the majority of people out there. I mean, the last 2 weeks leaving my house has been just completely eye opening. For instance, yesterday, want to go for a hike. We're getting into mid, early September. So most of the, let's just say, city folk have gone back to their pods, their hovels, and no longer bother to desecrate my sacred trails. I wanted to go commune with the nature spirits to vrill up, to get those negative ions flowing. And as I'm walking through the trail, I hear sound. It's not people talking. There's a beat. And as the beat grows stronger, the music gets more clear, and I realize the genre of music, and then I understand what's happening, that somebody is blaring their music while hiking, which I've been hiking since the 90s. I know I'm old, but I've never seen this before. And it actually happened back to back on the same hike. I have never seen people blaring their music out loud while hiking. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. Hiking should be a time when you're out trying to decompress, trying to de-stimulate yourself, to reconnect with the natural mode of being. But these people from the south, Southlanders, from where I'm from, everyone south of me is a Southlander, okay? They have such brain rot, TikTok brain, this constant need of stimulation, that they can't go an hour, 2 hours without having some sort of electronic impulse entering their fragile, mush-like skulls with their recessed chins. Okay? It's something I've never even thought of, that this was necessary to hike while playing your horrible, awful slop music. And it's just like this kind of narcissistic vibe that these people have, that they don't really consider anybody else around them. It's everything is kind of just inwardly focused. And I don't think they actually go hiking for the genuine appreciation of nature and the mental and physical benefits. These people, they come up here to get a selfie or a nice little likable pic that they can post online and get their little dopamine drip from people liking, because everybody else goes to the same place and everybody else has to get the same photo from the same majestic trail. So they can all show, hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. It's not actually a genuine mode of self-reflection, decompression, destimulation. They're like hyper stimulated constantly, even in the outdoors. And then, believe it or not, after witnessing this on the trail, no more than 15 minutes later, it happened again. Something I've never encountered before in my life. Doubled up. Because sometimes you can think, okay, well, maybe Brynor's laying on a bit thick. Maybe he's over-exaggerating. Maybe it's not Kali Yuga. Maybe everything's great. Maybe we're progressing. Human beings are these, we're the pinnacle. We're the pinnacle of society. It's never going to get as good as it is now. It's only going up from here, right? I contend with these thoughts a lot. But I am constantly vindicated when I have to go interact with the outside world, which is something I try to avoid because of reasons. And these reasons, again, keep stacking up in my face. Can't escape it. Last week, I was following my friend. They got in an accident because some idiot decided to try to pass me from behind on the shoulder, right? Not the road lane, the gravel and the grass. They decided to pass me there. And then, after they passed me, they thought they could pass my friend who was making a turn. But instead of just taking the inside lane that was empty, they panicked and smashed into them. Okay? And so, of course, I get out and I start yelling at them and calling them a retard because it was the absolute stupidest, unbelievable maneuver I have ever witnessed in my life. That I'm still trying to process how your brain can tell you to try to pull this maneuver off. And I can't find the reason. It has been 2 weeks. Okay? And it's not like this person had an apologetic, remorseful attitude. No. They were rude. They were yelling. That's when I started to yell, is when they started to get yelly. Okay? I can get yelly. I deal with barbarian blue-collar workers. Yelling does not bother me. That is my bread and butter. Okay? So once they start to get yelly, I get yelly. And I'm going to call you retarded. And I don't care. Because that move was absolutely retarded. And so, these soy idiots, one of them, touched my arm. Okay, you don't touch another man's arm without repercussions. So I pushed him. And then he bitched out. He was taller than me, by the way. He must have been like 6'4". But I don't really care, because I could tell by his general demeanor that this guy has never done anything physical in his entire life. So, yeah, I had to throw some weight around and push them, and, they backed down and the yelling ceased. And then there was like 5 of them, 2 guys, 3 girls. The one girl comes at me and says, "You gotta stop, you gotta stop." And I swear, like, a single tear rolled down her eye. Like, I'd never seen anything like it before. There was something really freaking weird about this scenario. I don't know how to explain it. And then after, they're like, well, what did you say about Arabs? Because that apparently was their ethnicity. I had no idea what they were. I didn't say anything racial. I just called them retard. I didn't know retard was a racial slur. Anyway, I said, what did you say about Arabs? We're going to tell the police what you said about Arabs. I fucking just lost it, man. I laughed so hard. I was like, you're going to tattle on me? You're going to go tattletale on me and race bait me? Go right ahead. They're not going to do anything. They're going to think this is just silly. And then I called them pathetic. I was like, you guys are so pathetic for having to stoop to making it about ethnic ties. But of course, when you're in the wrong, it doesn't matter. Like, they think that this is like a trump card they can just pull out of their pocket when things don't go their way. It was really, really sad. It was really pathetic. And I called them out on it too, So you guys are pathetic. Thinking, and of course, this is not going to work. And of course, it didn't work because you think, like, cops in 2024 are actually going to, like, put in effort to do things? No. I was talking to the cop after, and he was like, yeah, like, this is, like, the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But, we don't have resources anymore to deal with things. We're 1,000 police short in our region, and we don't really care to bother. And that's what I mean, like, in terms of this Kali Yuga stuff, like, yeah, like, services are going under. The police are going to enforce only, like, the things that really, really matter. They're not going to prosecute somebody for a parent hate speech in a accident. And and you know what? He seemed to see through the situation pretty easily, I'll just say. So that was an interesting moment for sure. That was kind of white pilling. But this was on a country road. This was not a city center where you would expect to have to worry about such things. This was just the country. Okay? Trying to go to frickin' Bass Pro Shop to look at some frickin' guns to go hunting with. And you can't even do that anymore. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you're going out in public, be hyper vigilant about everything you do now. Because we don't live in we don't even live in 2012 anymore, okay? The world, my video, the world in 2012 becomes more and more vindicated every year because that world blew up and we got transposed to some clown world, clown pill dimension where, like, everything is a hassle now. Everything. So you just kind of have to have, like, I was laughing at them a lot. And I wasn't like, they were running around with their, like a chicken with their heads cut off, like flailing their arms and like just having like a hyper emotional response. Like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, you're so stupid. You're a very stupid person. It's like, I was just standing there, like, blank, like, oh, shut up, shut up. No, 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 no. So it's like, dude, like, you are the stupidest person I probably have ever encountered in my entire life. And the way you're acting right now is like just, it's not even like a woman. It's like a soyed up eunuch. Anyway, I, I gotta, I gotta find my Shangri-La. This was my Shangri-La up here for a long time, guys, for a long time. A good decade, maybe. On and off. But it was always kind of like a sanctuary I could escape to and not have to deal with the stupidity of the mass man. Because the people who would live here would be hardy and, simple folk, yet hardy, which is what I prefer. But now that's pretty much gone to the wayside, and I gotta figure out what's next. Do we just keep migrating north? North, north, north. Going to migrate to the North Pole and live with Hyperborean Santa so I can just be at peace. Because, again, country roads and obscure trails, that has been my solace in life, in dealing with the modern world and dealing with modernity and the sickness that infests our society. It's the smell, if there's such a thing. And now that seems to be disappearing. So I don't know, I gotta find a Shangri-La. Problem with the north, it's cold. It's very cold. But I like the cold. And I already live pretty remotely, so it's not like I'm a fish out of water. There was a bit of a debacle with a viewer of the channel, and this person was like a very urban person, clearly. And they had some like lofty dreams of living off grid within the next couple of years. And though I promote this idea and I think it's great if people can pull it off, I think people with very little expectation or little experience should lower their expectations of the timeline that this would probably take you to achieve, because the transition from living from an urban to rural lifestyle is pretty drastic and will take some time to adjust and will take some time to pull off. And if you don't already have some sort of hands-on type of career, it's not the easiest place to find employment. So if you're not practicing these off-grid skills already actively and you think it's just like a transition you just make with monetary transactions, that's not going to be an easy change for you. Not trying to say that it's wrong or that you can't do it, but I just want people to prepare themselves mentally that when it does become difficult, not to get discouraged and not to be discouraged if it doesn't happen the timeline that they expect, because this is a big thing. When I came from the suburbs to moving rural when I was 18, it was tough. It was a toughening change. I'm grateful happened to me. And then again, when I left the country to go move to a city to pursue higher education, that was also a tough transition. One that I actually never could fully handle. So I had to come back because there was no way I could be a hustle and bustle urbanite in the long term and thrive. And it's okay because our people, civilization have had people who live in cities, and the concept of a city is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the modern conception of a city is freaking awful. Okay? I know this is kind of a all over the place ramble, but I just need to get some things out off my chest and listen to what you guys think about it. Because yeah, I've just noticed that I am vindicated in my assessments of Kali Yuga encroachment on just very basic functions within society, like driving on country roads. Take me home to a place. But, you can't, so everywhere, even where you think you're safe, gotta be careful. Because the longhouse dwellers are everywhere. And they don't follow the same protocols as you in terms of thing about common sense is that common sense is actually not common anymore. It should be called uncommon sense because it seems to have gone away to the wayside. So any type of common sense notions that you have of how things should work, just assume the opposite and act accordingly. Because if you think common sense is common, you are going to lose your freaking mind. So you have to just let it all go. Embrace, okay? 1, 2, 3. We're going to do an Om and we're going to embrace the Kali Yuga. Om. 1, 2, 3. I embrace the Kali Yuga. Praise Wotan. Where is the Shangri-La? Right? Where's the Shangri-La? Where, my Shang dwellers, where you guys living? Where's the place to be, okay? How many hours away from a population hub do I have to live? Nearly 4 hours is not enough. It's going to have to be like 10. 10 hours minimum. Okay, guys? We need 10 hours minimum from a population center. That's the only way we're going to escape the soy. Speaking of soy, I am really tired of people growing soy in my area. Okay, just stop. Oh, it's cheaper to feed the cattle soy. Oh, yeah, let's just feed our cattle soy. Let's just feed the livestock soy and then just take the soy byproduct and make soy oils, and then we can just have a soy economy. No. You're ruining the quality of meat. You're ruining the quality of everything. You're ruining the quality of the soil. Like, everything, my area, is turning into canola and soy. Seed oil is the new cash crop. Right? It should be growing like corn and even using it for pasture land. There's all this land could be used for pasture land. But instead, it's cheaper, it's easier, it's better, blah, blah, blah. It's better to feed the mammal, Mr. Anderson. The mammal must eat soy. It's the smell. I can't handle it anymore. I can't handle the soy. I just see a field of soybean. Could you imagine? You're so deep into it, like me. You see a field. You see a field that's is being used to grow soy, and you get angry. You get angry because you know it's soy. Oh, despite it all, we still have fun. Despite it all, you have to have fun. Humor is a Hyperborean trait, okay? These stoic these stoic YouTubers you have to be extremely stoic in your assessment of the metaphysical realities. It's just it's not relatable for me because witticisms, wit, humor, these are all things that I grew up with in my culture and observed in my ancestors and everything. And being just a stone-faced stoic is not in my nature. And I don't think it actually conveys information and messaging very well. Okay, sometimes I like to make the more serious script video because it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a cool aesthetic. And maybe it'll bring in some people who don't resonate with the other types of stuff. But humor is really important. When I think about that accident and me calling those people retards for 20 minutes straight, I laugh really hard and it feels really good. And all the jokes and all the memes I've made about these hikers who were blaring their music, it makes a lot of good times, a lot of mirth. Mirth is needed, okay? And even if you watch black pill content, sometimes it's a guilty pleasure of mine, right? There's the black pillars who aren't funny, and it sucks. But the black pillars who are actually freaking hilarious, it's actually the funniest content you could watch. And it's just because they have, even despite them thinking they're these subs, they still have this mirth about them and this humor that makes it awesome. And cheers to them. cultivating mirth. It's a trait. It's a Hyperborean trait. You know, um, I think politicians, leaders who exhibit these mirth-like traits, I feel like they always do better, are more popular. Something like I don't, I don't agree with this guy. I have a lot of suspicions about this guy. I'm not sure about this guy, but for nostalgic reasons, I feel like Alex Jones really exemplifies this mirth dynamic where his humor, like he's delivering quote unquote information that is not mainstream and has interesting qualities to it. But that's not really the whole spiel about him because the way he delivers it, that's the most important dynamic when it comes to AJ, is that he has this mirth quality about him underlying all the crazy dark stuff he talks about. He still has this level of humor that he can layer within the darkness, which I admire a lot. I think it's a great way, to convey information. I think the really autistic, cold. I think it works for. I think some people can pull it off, and it has its uses for sure. But a lot of ways, it's not ideal in terms of how you can relate. I can't relate to somebody who just seems like they're just this person meditating on Mount Olympus. I I just it's not real, it's a persona. Right? A lot of these people have personas, which is cool. I might just develop a persona like some crazy, just psychotic barbarian person, just a psycho barbarian, just screaming at normies or something, walking around with battle axe. It could be funny. But that one guy, he kind of ruined it for everybody in terms of the barbarian aesthetic. Sup tribals, sup. Who's that guy? That steroid user? Fucking. Oh, I can't remember his name. He ate raw meat. That's how irrelevant he is in 2024. He used to be like relevant. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like the world is really freaking weird these days, but at the same time, you gotta like make fun of it. You can't let it bring you down. That's another thing. The humor, the making fun of it, the mocking of the clownery, the mocking of the soy, the mocking of the longhouse, mocking it, right? Kind of reminds me of the druidic schools. One of the schools of the druids with the bards. And they were the most feared because they would mock people in song and poetry. And if you had like a bard mocking you with a really good poem or song, you were done. Your prestige was absolutely out the window. You were just a joke at that point. It was the most powerful work of spellcraft that could be used against you, was the mockery of the bard. So I think it is a powerful tool to mock the society. It seems to hit home with people. Yeah, it's definitely something that I admire for sure. Someone can make me laugh, man. I will follow that content. That's for sure. But yeah, thanks for listening to this kind of ramble cast. Tried to get some thoughts out there. Wanted to see what everyone thought about it. And I'll see you soon again. I'm working on some like actual script material here. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.